slow. So baby, don't you change that station. Be a part of this history that's in the making. It don't matter what you're doing, just save it. And you can get back to it later. Later, later, later. And you can catch some of this flavor. Flavor, flavor, flavor. Cause real recognize real. Real recognize real. Real recognize real. Real recognize real. Hey yo, Shaw. Hey, listen, I tuned in one night, man. Appreciate that, man. That was real. Hey, real recognize real is a G-law. Always be yourself, never be a fraud. Life is up and down, call it seesaw. Stay woke, triple R, ringing the alarm. French all up, internet, doing better. Made from pure chocolate, dipped in vanilla. Caught up in the rain under your umbrella. Always rock the house from the roof to the cellar. Yeah, that's why I gotta tune in. When you're on camera, I hope they zoom in. So many shows only let buffoons in. Out my mind, they evicted so you can move in. Cause real recognize real. Always turned up, so lay back and just chill. Ain't thinking about drama, ain't thinking about bills. A natural high. No reason, no pills. Just you, baby. Real recognize real. Real recognize real. Real recognize real. Real recognize
Hey, real recognize real, y'all.
Yes.
Welcome to the Real Recognize Real Talk radio show. I am your host, Franchella.
And I'm your co-host, Lynette. Hey.
Yes. And of course, Birdman will be up soon. He's doing a little something in the background, but he will be up as well as our co-host. Thank you guys for tuning in. We have another fabulous show for you as usual. We have two amazing comedians coming up, and I am just too excited. Yes, I mean, listen, y'all. We bring you some really, really dope guests on the show, and we have a good time. You know, sometimes the conversations that we get into, what?
Yes. Let's get into it.
Get into it. All right, let's bring up the beauty first.
Thank you. I heard that.
Comedian.
Yes.
B-Phlat. Welcome to the Real Recognize Real Talk radio show.
You ladies, thank you. I was enjoying the intro song. You saw me rocking to it.
Yes, I did.
Yes, play that in the bedroom.
That's right.
Yes, all these fake booties, fake breasts, fake baby hair, fake everything going on.
That ain't real recognize real though.
Well, that song gonna be like, booyah.
So let's do her intro, and then we're gonna bring up our next guest, and then we're going to do the intro, and then we're gonna get into it.
Okay. So B-Phlat is a comedian and host of her own podcast, Tighten It Up Tuesdays. She is originally from St. Louis, but now resides in Philadelphia. Philly. She's also a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority and is passionate about promoting art as therapy. She's extremely funny and beautiful as well. So welcome to the Real Recognize Real Talk radio show.
Yes. Welcome.
I've been to see you perform on numerous occasions. And I enjoy your show. Last time I saw you, you were at the Met. I went to see you when you were at the Met.
Okay.
In Philadelphia. Phenomenal show. Awesome performance. Me and my friend Ebony got to take pictures with you and everything. So thank you. Thank you for being personable and people can actually touch, feel, and
Yes, they can. I'm very humble. I'm not one of them standoffish people. I normally just sit out in the crowd and come from the crowd to the stage. People be like, we didn't even know you was sitting right here. We didn't even know you was a comedian. All up in the back, like, give me this and that. I'm super humble. I like to sit and enjoy the show. And when it's my time, I go up and do my thing.
Hey.
Right.
Thank you for recognizing. See, real recognize.
Ow. All right, let's bring up Dee Lee.
B, you ain't tell me you was doing your makeup. I'd have did mine and had all mine ready. You ain't tell me you was doing all that.
You ain't doing that.
My eye stuff on or something like that.
What that number that pick up the bags.
Yeah, you know what I mean? As hard as I've been working, you ain't tell me we was doing that.
And you look fine. You look fine. You got the camera all the way in China. You all right.
Thank you. Is this supposed to be closer? I don't know.
No, you're fine. I used to do the same thing. You're fine. As long as we can hear and see you, and we can. Welcome to the Real Recognize Real Talk Radio.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
I'm going to give you a proper introduction as well. So Dee Lee is an actor, comedian, radio personality, motivational speaker, and entrepreneur. Known for his own podcast, Figure It Out, Christian Reality Radio, The Dee Lee Show, and an HBO Zone. Most notably in Philadelphia. I don't know if y'all know, but he is a comedian legend in Philadelphia. Not only for comedy, but he was also on the radio for quite a while. And he was the host, which I went to see a couple times at the Laugh House that was on South Street in Philadelphia. That's where I recognize him from, the Laugh House in Philadelphia. So welcome to the Real Recognize Real Talk Radio Show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having us.
Thank you both. So let's get into it. All right. So this question is for you, B-Phlat. So as a female in comedy, do you ever feel the pressure to in a male-dominated field, or used to be a male-dominated field, do you ever feel the pressure to kind of bring gender into your comedic act? Or
I have to be honest. When I first started off, I did, but I would talk about my relationships more in a sexual way, and then that didn't work for me because I'm not comfortable with that because I have a whole range. Mm-hmm. So I veered away from that like probably 2 years into my career. I never felt like I had to do that. I feel like I have to bring what makes me different from everyone else to the stage because we all talk about the same stuff. Right. So it's about how your perception, your experiences, it's relatable to other people. So that's what makes the difference. And I've always been like that. I'm fearless. I never felt threatened.
Right.
By any male in the business.
I know that's right.
I always wear my armor of God. I wear my shield.
Yes.
So I never felt like I'm out of place. I'm here to work, and that's it.
Period.
Yep. That's it.
Yep.
Right. So both of you, when did you realize or recognize that you were funny?
I'm gonna let Dee answer that first.
Wow, recognize that I was funny.
Like, I think I'm gonna pursue this. I'm actually really funny.
Well, no, actually, this is the weirdest thing. So for those who don't know, the way I started was I actually was out. I mean, I always used to listen to Richard Pryor, Red Fox, George Carlin, and all them growing up. You know, I would be in class and I had the little white earpiece up to my ear, and I'm sitting here listening to that while I'm actually in high school. You know, right. And then so you know, and I would always imitate Richard Pryor and those jokes like lunchtime and things like that, just to be the class clown, just to get the attention. But never at that time thought about being a comedian. And I think being a comedian came as I actually went to a comedy show on a date with someone to a place called the Comic Stop, which was on 4th and Arch in the Holiday Inn back in the day in Philadelphia. And I was in the audience, and the host of the show, Rob Miner, comedian, was doing his act, and he kept looking at me. At that time, I just wasn't laughing. It wasn't, you know, it didn't move me, you know, and he looked at me and he just started going in on me. All the Al B. Shore jokes, all the light skin jokes, you think you could do this? And my big mouth, I was like, yeah. You know, and he was like, well, come back, you know, it was Thursday night for open mic night. And I was like, all right. And I left the show and I was like, oh man, I got to go back
What
on
did I
Thursday
do?
night. You know what I mean? Wait a minute. And I caught myself listening to more albums, and I said, okay, well, what do I do? And I just started. I wrote an outline of just 5 minutes. I didn't know how many minutes, but I just wrote an outline, and I went back. And when I went back, I did that at 3 to 5 minutes or whatever, and it was everything just based on my life, and people were laughing. And it just so happens to be that at that time Dave Chappelle was promoting the movie Robin Hood Men in Tights, and he was there, and he told the owner Rick, who he said, hey, Rick Thomas, he told Rick, he said, hey, Rick, I found out later, he told Rick to, hey, why don't you have this guy host this weekend? And boom, it started from there.
Wow.
You know, and I was like, yo, I got to taste the host. I started going up to, at that time, there weren't any outlets in Philadelphia for people, comedians of color, you know, so I would go up to Lakey's, I would go up to the different, you know, bars and everything where there were just microphones and people, hey, we have an open mic night. Hey, we're doing comedy night. And then I was like, wow. And then I started with people, some people call it crossing over, but I ran into Mark Curry at the Shops at Liberty. And I was like, yo, Mark. And Mark was looking for some clothes. I introduced him to a friend of mine who did clothing. And he was like, yo, and then we get to talking, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I started doing comedy. And he was like, yeah, why don't you come on down and do 5 minutes tonight? And I'm like, oh, here we go again. And at that time, the club on South Street was called, it was the Funny Bone.
Right.
And with it being called the Funny Bone, I went down there, got up, did the 5 minutes, and all of a sudden now I'm in that club, and they're like, hey, you want to come and host? And I started hosting, but then the Funny Bone switched over to become David Brenner's House of Comedy. And then while I was there one day cleaning up, because that's what I did to get on stage, I would help clean up the room and everything like that. At the same time, while still doing the black room, so to speak, you know, Lakey's and all that with Dick Tracy and everybody. And while I was there one day, I heard said comic say he didn't know I was there, or he didn't know I was black, put it that way. Wow. And he said, hey, I'm glad we don't have this where all these Def Jam comedy black comics in here. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, man, because he never knew me. And he was trying to figure out my nationality because he didn't know what I was going to do that night. He thought I was going on stage talking about grab this, suck that, do this, do that. The typical stereotype Def Jam comedian. And I was like, yo, and, you know, and I called him out on it, you know, and next, you know, he's not there anymore. His name is taken down. Now, I don't know if that was because of me, but his name was taken down off the comedy club, and they were trying to figure it out. And I said, yo, why don't y'all let me, you know, host a show here? And I hosted the show on Wednesday. It did okay. Then I promoted and hosted a show on Thursday that did very well. And through me joking around and everything with the two club owners, I said, hey, why don't y'all should let me buy this joint. And I was just joking. But it turned into, you know, long story short, just me buying and taking that comedy club and turning it into the world famous Laugh House Comedy Club.
Wow.
And that's what I did, you know.
It sure is.
What'd you say, B?
You still didn't tell us when you knew you was funny.
But that's when I realized I'm glad you said that, because I go off on a tangent, but she'll tell you I'll go left.
When the guy at the club, when he was watching,
I realized I was funny that night when I stepped on that stage the first time. I said, I can do this. And I did it.
My questions first.
Right. And I did it. It was boom. And there it was. And it was fun doing it, you know, about my life. So there it is.
Wow.
Ask me that question again. I'm gonna give you the same. I'm gonna give you a different answer. No.
I'm sure it ain't gonna take that long.
So when did you realize that you were funny and you wanted to pursue comedy?
Right after I got on the stage at the Laugh House Comedy Club. At the
right, there you go.
Comedy Shop Comedy
You,
Club.
Dee Lee. Not you. We got your answer. We talking about B-Phlat now. I got it. I got that.
Right. Everybody got that.
It's funny. I was never a class clown, but I was always sarcastic and I was a bully. Meaning like I would bully you in high school. Like if you walk down the hallway, I would talk about you, be like, oh no, you didn't come to school with that. I don't wear that. I was that person. So people always thought that I was funny just in conversation. And they were like, girl, you so funny. And I just was like, I'm the person that they call funny, but not fun. Because I'm super serious about everything.
Everything.
Shut up. But I'm like, I don't get jokes. It's crazy because I'm a comedian, because everything goes, I'll be like,
What?
I'm not telling no joke. I'm talking, and they be like, "Girl, you funny." I was trying to be fun. I'm like, I'm trying to be serious, and you trying to be fun. So I'm that person. Like that. To me, there's a time and place for everything.
Right.
Make a long story short, I've always been that person that just say stuff. And I'm never very tactful. So when I worked at this law firm, where they filmed the movie Philadelphia at Meserov Gelman, Crafty James. Meserov, Gelman, Jaffe, Kramer, and Jameson, no longer in existence. But at the time, everybody in the office, we used to do these little retreats. They used to say, oh, you should host the roast between the because they thought I was funny in the office. You should host the roast at the retreats up in the Poconos between the partners and the different the paralegals and the just the regular attorneys. And I was like, oh, so I used to do that, and they thought I was funny.
Oh, nice.
So then my friends signed me up.
So you got a chance to even talk about people that you
and I just
think that you can really talk about without getting fired or something, right?
But I used to always be like, oh Lord, I better make sure I got my money first. Fire me. So the associates and the partners and the paralegals and secretaries, they used to roast each other, and I would facilitate it. Make a long story short, some of the people at my job and different friends of mine signed me up for a WHYY talent show. And I thought that they put it on the guys that we were going to go up as a band. So when I got there, they were like, no, we signed you up for the comedy show. So the funny thing is I was there with my trumpet, and I was like, I don't even know what to do. I went out and I played Creep by TLC. And I told a funny story about a sexcapade. And I recorded it, and I remember only like 2 people laughed.
Wow.
But that challenged me, and I was like, wow. When I listened to it was a mini disc. I don't know if y'all remember the mini disc. With the little mini cassette. I recorded it. And when I got home and listened to it, I was like, obviously people see something in me I don't see in myself. But only 2 people laughed at the joke that I was telling. Like more people was clapping at the music. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I could do this. So then that challenged me to like go to open mics and stuff here around Philadelphia and just start doing comedy.
Wow.
I knew I was funny, even though people kept telling me, but that's like people But these people in the audience, and I didn't care that it was just 2 people. I was like, damn, I heard somebody laugh. So I worked on that part that they laughed at.
Right.
But some people are funny just like around people, around family, around friends, and say different things. But then they, when you say, oh, they're funny, go on stage, they don't want to do that. They don't think that they can bring the funny at that point, because everything is spontaneous, like in the moment. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So what was the comedian who basically all he did was bust on people in the audience?
Joe Torre?
Yes, thank you. Yes. Mm-hmm. And he reminds me of like one of those people where that's what he was good at, and that's why everybody said he was funny. So to get on stage and tell like about the family, about jokes and coming up with stuff, you kind of just go for the people in the audience and then making people laugh. So
well, ironically, so there are a lot of comedians that work for, but they're mostly white, and we are, and rest in peace, we are very blessed to say that it worked for Paul Mooney, but most of his audience was white. Like talking about people, busting on people, and things like that. Right. Now, I'm not gonna say that though.
But he was a great writer, though.
He was definitely a great writer.
He was a hell of a writer.
We ain't talk about that. We talk about him on stage doing stand up.
Yeah, his stand up. Well, my opinion, his stand up to me was hilarious.
He was brilliant, but very offensive.
Yes, now that I will admit.
So that's one thing, but that works for some people. It don't work for everyone. It doesn't work for the average comedian. I can tell you, like 1 out of 50, it's not gonna work
Mhm.
Everybody, because even in that aspect of you
Lynette,
being
we went to camera 2. Lynette, we went to camera 2.
I see, I see, I see, I see.
All right.
I'm paying attention. I'm paying attention.
Sorry, B.
of you being that type of comedian, you still have to frame how you do it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, you got to write it out or whatever. So that's the part where what makes a difference between a comedian and what they say, a comic and a comedian.
All right.
Mhm.
Is
Because
there any topic off limits? Like, in comedy, are there any topics that are off limits? Like some people, well, let me not give you the answer.
I don't think it. I don't think it. It's a story of it being off limits. I think it's the timing of certain things. Certain things, that happens fresh, and depending on how damaging it was or how violent it was, I think your timing should be okay. How do I present it? And then there are certain things, and I'll just drop a gem here.
and
When
don't
Chris
take
when
long.
when Chris Rock went through the situation with Will Smith, when Will
Uh-huh.
Smith smacked Chris Rock, immediately people were like, "Oh man, Chris is going to go on stage. Chris is going." What people didn't know is right then and there, within 2 weeks, Chris started touring. And then while out on tour, it became a situation of, oh man, Chris is going to talk about this. Chris is going to talk about this. Well, Chris didn't talk about that.
Right.
Chris didn't actually talk about that. He was getting ready for it. He was writing and putting everything together. But until the tour came to Baltimore, where it was being live filmed on Netflix, now if you look at that, you can see the emotion that came as he spoke about the situation and the night that he had with Will Smith. It came that night, 2 shows in Baltimore. The second show was live, and that was when the public got to first see it and hear it. And then if you watch it on Netflix, even if you go back to it now, you could see the emotion that's coming out of him, almost to a person that's talking about being freed after they were locked up innocently for many years.
Right.
So I don't think anything's off limits. I just think it's the timing of it all.
Makes sense. What do you think, B-Flat?
Things are off limits. I do. Like, I don't like comedians that make fun of like kids with autism and they think it's funny talking about like the Special Olympics. I don't like comedians that talk about slapping bitches. They slap their baby mama. I mean, people think that stuff is funny, and you have to realize a lot of comedy comes from real life, and these people are talking about real experiences. So that just kind of lets me know how you are as a person, the type of things
Character.
your character. So it's more like, are you using this stage for therapy for you? Or are you letting God use you for therapy and love to the world? So that there's a difference. There are things to me that are off limits. I really believe so. There's a comedian that thinks these jokes that they talk about being molested and they molested another person because I don't think that's funny.
It's not funny at all.
It's not funny, but it's funny how what it is we live in a day and age where, yes, you have to talk about things that happen to you, and people feel more open and free to be who they are. And
that's in therapy.
That's in therapy, and there's so many groups. Everybody in the group on Facebook for this and that, and everybody.
Right. It's a group for everything.
So they feel like now I can go out on stage and talk about these things, but that you can. But maybe there's a funny way to do it. But we don't want to hear your story because, like you said, this
tragedy,
therapy, and it's not funny.
And
yeah. And I use this. Dee and I both had this discussion. Comedy has always been my therapy.
Yes.
But the way that I tell the jokes and I talk about my mom and talk about my family and just things that happen, it's my story. It's my release. People in my family be mad. They be like, why you tell the people that? Like, they don't even know who you are. They don't know you sitting in the audience and I'm talking about your ass.
Exactly. Like the aunt that comes with all the Tupperware,
Right. Right. I got one of them.
But
we all do.
I never had to go on stage and like tell the story and say I did this and this is what I did and this. It's a funny way to talk about life in every aspect. And like I said, the stage to me is for sharing, caring, and spreading love and helping somebody else heal. in a funny way.
Right. Laughter.
In a funny way.
Agreed. Were there any times when, like Dee Lee mentioned, the part where he was listening, he was watching the guy, and the guy, he wasn't laughing because it wasn't funny? Were there any times when you were on stage and the audience was like,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Moments like that. But I'll tell you a funny thing about me. I have a blind spot. It's like when I'm on stage, I cannot see out into the audience.
Right. And that's a good thing.
No, it's not, because I
No?
pay attention to what I can hear. So if you can't hear what you need to hear, sometimes you tend to just keep going to try to get to where you want to hear laughter. So that's what a comedian has to pay attention to, because if you wearing a person out, you need to wrap it up and say, well, you know what? Thank you very much. I'm going to get on off the stage. Instead of trying to wear them out and get to that funny joke that you feel gonna make it, all come together, and then that don't work, and then you go on to another one. I always have to hear what's going on because I can't see. It's just like it's just always been my nemesis on stage, and it could be all the lights on, but it's just like I'm out in this universe by myself, and all I hear is the laughter or no laughter. Yeah,
right. But I think that's something that, like, anybody, not just comedians, just being on stage in general.
Well, you get blinded.
Yes, it's like, in church, the pastor, like, when you see people's face and they're not laughing, or they got this look on them, like, yeah, okay, type of thing, it can be so discouraging, so they always tell you to focus on something else, like a clock. That's
right. Let me tell you something. As a comic, you don't hear that laughter, you ain't focusing on shit.
Right, but no,
I was in front of
faces. I'm saying you want to hear that laughter. So the sound, yes, you always focus on the sound, but it can be discouraging when you see it, looking at different people's faces, and it's not like what you expect or what you want.
That never bothered me, somebody having a weird face, but I was in front of 5,000 people in Washington, D.C., the Lincoln Memorial, and it was the worst time I bombed. Wow. And I knew what I did wrong. I'm crushing shows. We hit the Lincoln Memorial, and I'm ready. My dumb ass decide I'm going to go ahead and try all new jokes this night. Oh my God. It was a disaster. I think matter of fact, I know the funniest thing I said tonight is, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you not booing me.
You get off early.
Hell yeah. I got off that stage quick. I was like, because you could tell, you could feel it.
Right.
As a comic, you can feel it. And you can feel, okay, I can come back. But then there's certain times, there is no comeback to this. It's best for me to exit, because I'm going to kill the rest of the show. Right. It's best for me to exit.
When you hear the comedians say things like this on day, when they say, oh man, a whole lot of noise in the back, I can hear the mixer. I can turn that mix machine off.
Or if you constantly hear a comic go, y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy.
Y'all looking at the bill already? Why y'all looking
I probably, in my whole career, I would say 3 times that I know for a fact it was not good. Wow. And I knew, and the second time was actually in St. Louis, and I was at that Funny Bone I forgot that Funny Bone that was outskirts, and it was my first show. It was my first show. It was a Funny Bone, and I'm ready. I'm hyped. That audience was not feeling me, and I was like, yo, and I got off stage, and I said, okay, and what I think it was, I was like, yo, I got to look into this audience, because I'm used to playing to mature crowds. And like B said, you have to know who you playing to. And that night was literally, it wasn't just hood. It was overly hood. and then the host, this is just my perception. I believe the host sets the rhythm for the whole show.
Right.
And the host started off with, don't y'all feel like eating some? And I'm like, what the hell is this? And then they had a guest comic come up, and that's all they spoke about. Yeah, I'll be getting my dick. And I'm not that dude.
Right.
And I said, man, so now I'm like, okay, let me go up here and do what I do. And this is gonna sound racist. The first two comedians was dark as hell. Then I come on stage and like, oh, this little light skin, and we about to give it to him. And that's exactly what they did. And you know it's bad when you hear somebody yell from the far, go, keep going, D. You all right? I was like, oh, hell no. I'm getting out of here. She was like, go keep going, D. You all right? I was like, the ladies ain't going to save me on this one. I got to get out of here.
And these are teachable moments. But even those moments are teachable moments. So it's say, okay, well, I can do this one. I can't do that one. Or, or
well,
like
you know what
said,
it was?
To know your audience.
That's what I think it is. It's you, like, if you put me and B-Phlat on the stage together on a show together, we blend. We're perfect. It's a perfect combination. But this particular night, so I didn't know the first two people. I didn't know them at all. So they start off XXX rated. And I'm like, yo, and I'm not saying I don't cuss or anything on stage, but they went XXX rated. So I had 5 shows I had to do that weekend. And on that second show, that Friday night, I came out blazing because I knew what they were going to do. Right. And I came out blazing. I came out walking the audience through and gathering them into my space. You see what I'm saying? Versus me going into their space, I brought them into my space.
Right.
I would add to that and say, in our era of comedians, atmosphere always played the number one. It doesn't matter about the audience. First of all, it's about where the comedy show is. So we came up in an era where people just feel like they could do a comedy show anywhere.
You ain't lying.
Anywhere, any bar, any backyard, any hole in the wall, bad systems. So, and then you have to think about, we've done VFW posts,
military,
where if the atmosphere, say in clubs where you got to have a show over by 9 o'clock, because here come the young crowd and they hear the show. So we had that training where no matter what type of crowd it was, that's the thing that we needed, because it brought all kind of people from different, genres of life, different economic places that we performed at, which gave us great training. And it also teaches you how to work in different atmosphere, because all your shows not going to be at a theater. They not gonna be at a comedy club. They're not going to be at the winery. They might be in the hood in some, you see what I'm saying? Somebody
starting off, especially
starting off. So, but now everybody just starts off in their basement on the internet. Ready to jump to the stage, and they're still working.
Crash and burn.
Because you have a live audience now. When you at home, you can edit up everything and make it as perfect as you want it. That's funny. We don't know how many times you cut that up before you posted it to make it funny.
Right.
When you get on stage, you ain't got all that time. So you got right there. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the disconnect is, I feel, in this day and age, in terms of getting what you need to really be funny, having those crazy experiences, and performing in front of all kind of people, which really makes you a well-rounded comedian.
I think one of the best things that my friend Keith Robinson told me, he came up to me one day, I got a standing ovation. And I said, man, Keith, I got a standing ovation. Keith would take me everywhere, colleges and things like that. And he said, yeah, because he never gave you props. He was like, yeah, okay. Well, now it's time for your ass to get out of Philly. Let's see how funny you really are. And it was the challenge. And I was like, okay. So when I caught myself going to different cities, going to New York City, going into the, popping up at these different comedy clubs, literally comedy clubs, going in front of different audiences, then you realize, okay, this is what funny is about. Right. You know what I mean? Anybody could be the excuse my expression, the funny nigga at the barbecue. Right. You know what I mean? But when it come time to hit that stage, like B was just saying, you get in front of your camera and say anything. For the newer generation who has never, I've seen some of these newer generation, they call themselves comedians, doing jokes that are older comics jokes. but the new generation doesn't know that.
Right.
They don't know that, you know. So we could sit there and B and I can sit there and go, we were talking about a comic the other day. We're not going to say the name. We were talking about a comic the other day. I think they have great characters, but then they were talking, I seen them go on stage for literally 10 seconds and then it was edited. It was cut. So we were like, well, I'm going, well, where's the stand up? And you go to everybody's bio, it says comedian, comedian, comedian. And it's like, yo, nah. And because we carry that title as a sign of respect. It's a championship belt.
Right.
You know, now everybody is a comedian. And I've seen people go out there and have all these followers and everybody came to see them. And then they hit that stage and that was it. They couldn't get past their little, what do you call it? Their cliche. They couldn't get past it.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to do at least 30 minutes. It went, they was done in 5. Could you imagine? It happened, and Chris Tucker would tell you it happened with Chris Tucker. Everybody saw Chris kill Def Jam.
Right.
Then Chris came to do a show one time. We were on, hey man, after 5-10 minutes of that, they got him.
Right.
Because you got to have material. And then Chris started writing and doing other things, and it took him to another level of being in movies and everything else. Some people can be funny in the movies, but not be funny in stand-up.
Exactly. Because like you said, I think it takes a true talent to make people laugh, because it's hard. Some people are just miserable. So it's kind of hard to make everybody laugh.
Right.
So
right.
If you can make a lot of people laugh, I think it's a really true talent. I really
It
do.
is. If you can make me laugh, because it takes a lot to make me laugh. So if you can make me laugh, yes.
You know, I honestly believe it's more than just a good comedian that can make you laugh. I really believe great comedians, they touch your heart. They have they're saying something that you can relate to. It's different than talking about somebody on TV or the Real Housewives. They're telling, every time somebody come up to me, they be like, girl, you telling me about my auntie, or girl, you talking about. It's like those are the things that are touching to people and what they remember. And that's what I feel like. That's how I know God has a purpose for me when I'm out on stage, because I know I touch people more than just you make me laugh.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
The funniest comedians are those that you can relate to. I agree.
Exactly. And they have
100%.
They're personable. Most of them have humility.
Right.
Have a life story, and they are very vulnerable, and they don't mind sharing, and they can be like Dave Chappelle and Martin Lawrence. These are people that can tell you a deep story, tell you about them, and they're very personable. You know what I mean? And they touch people. So those are the comedians that I feel that those are great comedians. That to me is like a pattern to greatness in terms of just making somebody laugh. Touch somebody, because you may have changed somebody's life. Somebody might want to kill themselves that day. Somebody to the comedy show. Absolutely. Like, believe me, I've had people tell me these crazy stuff. I got 7 scrapbooks. Dee know I scrapbook. But it's like from all my fans giving me things, sending me stuff. This whole office down here is dedicated to all the art.
She be getting some good stuff too.
All the great things that my fans send me. That's one thing, I'm a fan of my fans, because it ain't about me making them laugh. It's about me helping change their life. A lot of people be going through stuff and they be like, girl, when I saw you do this and you told that joke about that, I got my stuff. I started walking with my son, or just thing. And I get all these letters, and I save all that stuff for the Smithsonian. That they hope they don't take Black people stuff out. But
there you go.
I was like, they put my stuff in the Smithsonian. So I ain't got no kids that I know of. So I figure I got.
Ain't that funny? Did y'all catch that? That she know of.
She know of.
She gave birth and they know it. Somebody snuck a birth out of her and she didn't know it. I think one of the funniest things, well, I shouldn't say funny, but like we just said, is you're touching people. Is I was doing a East Coast tour, and this couple, and during the tour, during the stand-up set, I would talk about porn. And I would talk to people about how, remember when you watched porn when it first started with just the internet speed, and you hear and it paused right in the middle of it. And then I opened up with then telling a joke about porn, about how why do people watch porn? And I believed it was because and married couples especially, because the men really are trying to, fulfill a fantasy that they really want to share with their wife, but they just don't know how to talk about it. I'm doing this. I'm city. This lady comes up to me after one of the cities. She goes, "Hey, can we, do the picture thing and everything?" Sure. And during that time, she says, "I need to say thank you." And I said, "What's that?" And she said, I've been to the last 2 cities. This is my third one in a row. And I was like, wow, really? And she was like, yeah, I was just amazed. And she said, myself and my husband. And she said that he's over there. And I looked and, I gave him a salute, of respect and everything. And she said, we had a rental car and we were driving from the first one. And she said that he opened up to me about watching porn. And she said, at first I got mad, but then I remembered, as you were saying, he was just trying to tell me these are certain things that he would love to see us do together. And, whatever their fantasy was. And he was afraid to ask her. So instead, he was watching porn to fulfill that. And I was like, really? And she was like, we just want to say thank you, because I thought it was because he didn't want to be with me. You know what I mean? That he'd rather look at these other women. And he comes over, I go to do the man thing, give him a pound and a hug, and he hugged me and starts crying. I was like, wow. So I knew, like Bev said, I'm being used, and I knew I was doing something right, and I'm going to continue to do it. Because when I opened up and said porn, you saw half the audience go, oh, hey, wait a minute, where's he going? And I just went in, and we had a good time. But that's one of those moments that she's speaking about.
Do that, baby. Do that right there. See what you
I mean, but look at it. How many times have you probably, and even you being women, how many times have you probably really wanted your man to do, maybe be a little rough with you, or do something different versus let's just, all right, go into the bedroom, blah, blah, blah. And you just didn't know how to tell him. You know what I mean? Be always sweating. Her personal towel. There it is.
I know that's right. Yeah.
So but just imagine, all of us want to be able to ask something, and without feeling weird about it. Right. You may want to wear heels to bed that night. I may want you to wear heels to bed that night. You know what I mean? So it's like certain things you want to do.
You invited him to the room. You forgot to tell us that part.
What'd you say?
That you forgot to tell us that part about they said, do you want to come up to our room
and see what we talking about?
Do you want to come up to our room? Following you from state to state.
He left that part out.
He left that part out. But you know what's crazy? I think the things that I say on stage, this haircut, a lot of women think I'm gay or bisexual. And then with this voice, so a lot of women come up to me after
baby.
Oh, they be like, oh, they do slut. They be like, oh, girl, you was funny. And I said to this one girl, bitch, I'm not that funny. I wouldn't pay to see you. Get away from me.
They said pineapples in front of her, and she didn't know what pineapples meant, so they knew she wasn't part of the club.
Right.
I felt weird. I had to pray on it because it really threw me off, and I was sitting in the car feeling creepy because I was like, I wouldn't pay to see me, bitch. I'm not that funny. That's really what I said. And the girl got mad, and I was like, why would she get mad? I'm like, don't be touching me. I don't like people touching me. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
She was all like, I was like, I'm not that funny.
Right.
What did Joey call the gay people the other day, B, when we were all together? Joey, what was it? What'd you say what did Joey? Would you call the gay community?
Celebrities, don't say the name.
Don't say the celebrity name. But remember, you said.
But tiptoeing through the tulips.
There it is. Yeah, he said, "Oh, well, they tiptoeing through the tulips."
Yeah. I didn't call. Yeah, don't, because I want them to come after me. I was like, when y'all playing the person, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe he tiptoes through the tulips because of the that she said. I didn't believe that, and this was so wonderful, y'all. I'm sorry for my lateness and everything, but these are wonderful people, and I want to say that I love them and I enjoy hanging out with all of you. Yes, the tiptoe through the tulips thing, that's what it was. That's what it was.
That was, instead of Joey saying the gay community, he said tiptoeing through the tulips.
I don't care about people tiptoeing through the tulips. Believe me, I
don't care if they tiptoe through the tulips. I just was shocked that that person that y'all told me, I was in shock that they tiptoed through the tulips because I never that they would tiptoe, put their foot on the.
But I have to put a disclaimer out when I go on stage and say that up front that I'll slap a bitch. I'll be like, don't come up to me and put your hands on me. And I take all kind of people. I take pictures. My moniker is to kick my leg up. I'll be like, is this your husband? They be like, yeah, and I kick
and do a split.
Do a split, all kind of stuff. Even with gay women, I'll be like, this your girlfriend? I'll be like, but my thing is, don't be trying to be slick with me. Like when we're taking pictures and stuff, I always ask me, don't be trying to be slide on my hand. I don't like that.
Right. It's like your personal space.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've had people come up, they be like, girl, you so cute. We got a room. You want to get? I'm like, I don't get down like that. Girl, I'm like, I'm sorry.
Some weird stuff is.
I don't get down like that. Thank you.
Happen on the road.
You know, now I've learned to be like, oh, you know what? I try to take it as a compliment because I don't want to be, I'm not ignorant, but I used to be ignorant. But now I'll be like, oh, thank you. I'm flattered, but I don't get down like that.
It's so funny because years and years ago, I went out with my sister-in-law, was a couple of friends, girls, whatever. And it must have been like a gay club that we went into down Center City.
Possibly.
And everybody getting cracked on but me. And I'm like, well, what's wrong with me? Right.
Right.
You know, I'm telling my husband, like, well, what's wrong with me? Ain't nobody trying to crack on me at all.
Right. You didn't have the right perfume on. You ain't had that CK on. They knew you wasn't part of the group.
I must say you off their hair or
if you ask me, I think you went in there looking like you looking out with your glasses on that ponytail.
They know.
Actually, I cut my hair, so my ponytail was long.
They know.
It's my fault. Even dudes don't crack on me because they be like, "Dag, sis, small." I mean, I be having a grizzly.
Maybe that's it though.
That's what it is.
Don't come over here with that nonsense, that yin yang. Don't even try it.
Right.
That's it then.
At one time, this girl looked like she was getting ready to say something to me because she kept following me around. And then I must have gave her this look. No, she said, "Can I ask you a question?" And I must have gave her this look like, "You better not ask me what I think you about that." So she was like, "Never mind." I was like, "Yeah, that part."
Well, why be offended by that? You know what I mean? It's like I've had several. My travels, gay men try to pick me up, but I think some people tense up like, "Oh, we coming over here with that gay shit." Man, I'd be like, "Look, bro, honestly, I appreciate the compliment, but because I always get complimented by gay men by my eyes. They go, "Ooh, you had nice eyes." Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You know, but then they realize, oh, you know, he's not part of the community, but he's cool. You know what I mean? So that's that.
Right.
I don't want a man invade my personal space. I don't want to walk through a crowd and the dude try to grab my booty.
And he couldn't grab it because there wasn't nothing there.
Whatever. Like, try to
hey, D, you always been sexy, D. What's up, boy?
What's going on with you?
How you been, man?
I have no complaints in life. You know what I'm saying?
Your eyes always was pretty since Lincoln Green.
and we got some stories about Lincoln Green.
Oh man, did we, man?
Woo-wee, my goodness.
How you been, man? You look good, man.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show for those of you who don't know. That's
right.
Husband Tony.
Tony just popped in out of nowhere. The funny thing is, so this is a funny story. This is a funny story. I would then when I stayed in Lincoln Green, I was starting my comedy career. I wasn't there at all. So Tony and I, all of us, our friend Darnell and all, we would all hang out with Lady B and everybody. So we were around that era. You know, we were around that era. And then Tony, and Tony, you know, I ain't lying. Tony would have a habit. I would go out of town or I'm coming back to get ready and we're going to go out somewhere. Tony would literally come walking out with my clothes on. And I'm like, what the hell? And I look at him and I go, I pull him aside, you know, because we homies and Tony and I were the lightest one. Me, Tony, and Carl, we the lightest ones. We the pretty boys, so to speak. So I pull him aside and go, Tony, is that my polo shirt? Yeah, you put it back. I'm like, yeah, all right, nigga. You know, all right, you know.
you stupid.
And it would happen like that, and it was the funniest thing to me because I would wear it, and then I see it hanging back in the closet. And the funny thing is, I never saw him go in my closet. I'm like, getting my damn clothes, but he put them back.
You stupid.
He put them back, so he would wear. Because I was at Temple University, and my dad got me an American Express card, so we would go to the Polo store up in Ardmore. Remember, Tony? We go up to the Polo store, and Tony would wear my stuff before I wear it. So if I put it on, they go, oh, is that Tony's shirt? I know this ain't Tony damn shirt. This is my shirt. You know what I mean? It was so funny. You know what I mean?
Tell that story on stage.
It was hilarious though, and then but that just goes to show you that the group that I came up around, they protected me because I wasn't a fighter. I wasn't a fighter at all. But you had the Darnells, you had that whole family, that Darnell's whole family, and God bless them. You know what I mean? They were fighters, but they knew who was going where. You know what I mean? So they looked out after us, and then we all looked out after each other. You know what I mean? But that's what I'd never forget that. I'd be like, damn, Tony, I ain't even wear that shirt yet. I'm gonna put it back. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna put it back. I'll be all right. I'm gonna put it back.
My sister used to do the same thing, and like you said, everybody used to be like, "Oh, you got on your sister clothes." I'm like, "This
right," because we knew how to dress. We knew how to dress. That's one thing. We knew how to dress, and we were, we were the pretty boys. That's what they called us, the pretty boys. You know what I mean? So we were in that era. Denim and acid wash denim and all of that. But it was the funny. And then the people that we hung around were, look at NBA players and everything. And that's because we were just, I don't know if what would you say, Tone? We just cool. We weren't groupies. We just cool.
Yeah, we were just cool. I played ball, so that
Right, Tony played ball. Yeah, so
y'all thought y'all was cute.
Ain't that? Well, we thought that. We definitely.
They wanted to hang out with us.
Right, people want to hang out with us. I gotta give them that.
Charles Barkley cheeks.
Yep. Yeah. Cliff Robinson, all of them. We can go back. We got some stories in that Lincoln Green. My goodness. My good. And Lincoln Green is where my mother punched me in the face in front of everybody. That happened at Lincoln Green. I never forget that. I'm playing.
Now your mama punched you in the face.
We sitting there. We live in a Lincoln Green. Charles Barkley comes over. It's me, Charles Barkley, David Wingate, Cliff Robinson, and Cliff Robinson had a habit of buying Fritos and putting hot sauce on them. And we were playing something. I don't know, we were playing Uno or whatever. My phone kept ringing, so I'm answering it, and I said, "Hey, Mom, what's up?" And she's, and I'm like, "All right, yeah, cool, okay, cool." And we had some ladies, everyone come over, and I go, "All right, Mom, cool," and I hang up the phone. We go back to playing cards, whatever we're doing. And the door knocks, and we all at that time drank Corona and Heinekens. We were uppity, and I go to answer the door, and I go to use my right hand to open the door. I got a beer in my left hand. I open the door, and all you see is this fist come through the door, like bam, and everybody jumps up like whoa. And my mom comes in, and she goes, "Yeah, I wish one of y'all would move." And I was like. And Charles knew my mom. So Charles was like, "How you doing, Miss Lee?" And she was like, hang the phone up on me again. Hang the phone up on me again.
Right.
And she walked away, and I'm standing there holding a beer, and my face is red. And I'm like, what the hell just happened here? My mom did not care. She didn't care who we was hanging out with. Yeah, I remember Lincoln Green got some stories behind it. Believe me, it got some stories. So Lincoln Green was behind Fridays. Oh, it still is. Isn't it still back there?
Yeah, it's still back there.
Yeah, it's behind Fridays and whatever the hotel is right there. But it was all the ball players lived there. All the ball players lived there. Lady B lived there.
All the drug dealers.
Yeah, all the dope boys.
That apartment complex off City Line Avenue.
That's it, right. Bobby Brown got some hellified stories over there. I'll be sure. Oh, it was crazy.
Pick up of NFL players that used to live over there.
I believe it. I believe it. It was one night. Tony, was you with us?
Lincoln Green.
Yeah, we was there one night. I don't remember, and we all come back from hanging out or whatever, and the dope boy had dropped nothing but $100 bills all in the street. Yeah, he didn't know it. Man, we cleaned up. We had probably about $2,000-3,000 worth of money.
Yeah, that was the JVM boys. They was
right. Right. They just dropped money. We ain't know. We was young boys back then, though. I ain't like think about that.
Yeah.
So what are y'all before we the time gets away from us? Let us know what y'all doing, what y'all working on currently. Where can people find you? And then if you don't mind, we want to hear something funny before we close out.
Well, we've been funny the whole damn time.
Oh, I know that. I didn't know that. I know that.
Where you been, Lynette? God damn. Yeah, we want to hear something funny. Well, B, you want to tell them, B, or you want me to tell them? You want to tell them?
I don't want to hear you say another damn thing. You told me.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You tell them. You tell them.
I didn't get to say shit. No, I'm just
tell them.
You know what? It's funny. I have a lot that I'm always working on. I always have a project going on. Oh, the thing that I can definitely talk about is a series I'm getting ready to work on called Name That Tune. It's with a live band and comedy where I'd like have people come on stage and they can pick what instrument they want to hear the tune from. People don't know I play the trumpet. I got 2 trumpets down here. So I'm starting that in January in 7 cities. And it's a fun thing. I actually started out and tested it in Galveston, Texas, and it went over super well. So now we're ready to just kind of bring it together and kind of take it on tour. So I can definitely talk about that. But I have a lot of good things that I got going on, and I'm blessed. So
that's good. Congratulations.
I gotta say something funny. I can say that it's sad that you can tell a person's culture by the way they put their trash out.
You stupid.
With no care.
And I don't like people that put a cart like you know how they give you a little free box at Aldi's to put your groceries in if you don't want to buy bags.
I've never been to Aldi's.
I do. I go to Aldi's all the time.
This is the best kept secret.
Thank you. And they stuff is fresh. They have a lot of amazing things. I like a lot of unique things that Aldi get. People don't realize they're a Swiss-owned company and European-owned, and they have a lot of European food that is really good for you. A lot of organic stuff. Anyway, make a long story short, you get the free box, and like at the produce place, they give you the box if you don't want to buy the bags. You're not supposed to sit that out as trash. You're not supposed to put watermelon in it and a cantaloupe and a honeydew and 2 cans and a McDonald's bag and sit that out. You from the Caribbean, and guess where they from?
Right.
I sure went down there and told them because when we were getting trash picked up when the strike was on, with nobody on the block getting their trash picked up but us, because I know everybody. So I had to go around collect the money so we could pay the dude that worked for another a security. He worked for a private company out in the county. He would come through and get out. And I went down there. I put a note on their door. I said, I'm getting $10 from everybody on this side to pay my man.
You told me that.
Yeah. And they want to pay. And I said, and I looked at their trash. I paid for it because I didn't want to look at that.
Right.
So, I rectified that with the quickness. I had the police knock on their door. So my friends told them that if they ain't get their trash and take it to a center, they was gonna get a $300 fine. They came down here with their money.
I know that's right. $10 to $300.
Put y'all stuff in a trash bag, box.
Oh God!
All right, D, what you working on?
I mean, thank God, you know.
That's real.
Yeah, right. Thank God I'm in a great place in my life. I'm thankful for everything, the ups and downs, but I'm definitely for the just being here in the great place that we're in. But we're actually, you know, Lee's Famous Cheesesteaks and Wings is doing very well. Lee Luxury Properties are doing well. And now I decided to, you know, I've been poached to come back into radio. So I'm putting a project together, which is actually D&B, Grown Folks Radio, myself and B-Phlat. And then we're featuring Joey, you know, that's Joey P on our show. You know what I mean? And it's basically our goal is it to be a syndicated show to the demo of 45 and up. Talk to people that can relate to us and that we can relate to them about our issues, from menopause to dating after 50 to money issues to finding some place to go out, you know, and because we're not, and it's no disrespect, I'm not I'm not doing the same things that I did when I was on Power 99. You know what I mean? I'm doing things differently in life now. And, you know, I'm married, I have children, I have grandchildren, you know what I mean? And the fact that life takes you through different steps. But I think radio, when we listen to it, I'm looking for that show that talks about that. And yeah, you have your Steve Harveys and your Ricky Smileys and things like that. I'm applaud to them, but I'm looking for the one that directly talks to us, where we could laugh about different things, you know, and have a good time about it, but also get information and feed information to people. And like I said, it's us talking to us. It's Grown Folks Radio, having real bang out conversations. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you said DMV.
Yeah, DMB is Dee Lee, B-Flat in the morning, and, you know, featuring Joey P. You know what I mean? So it's Grown Folks Radio. That's exactly what we're working on. And look out, it's going to be crazy
out there. I didn't want to mention it because I didn't know if we could mention it.
I ain't worried about that. What they going to do to me? We own it.
You right.
Congratulations.
Yes, absolutely.
It's definitely needed. Those are good topics too for the 45 and over.
Ain't that a blip? There we go.
Yeah, we're talking like y'all talk about real life.
Yep, real life.
And bringing in different experts and different people that we know that can tap into things that really I mean, we talk about funny stuff, you know, but real issues that a lot of people don't talk. Anything from politics to faith to whatever it is you might be going through, empty nest syndrome, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you're going through in terms of what we're going through at our age, things that are relevant to us, we want to talk about that. Mental health, all kind of stuff, you know, finances, just, you know, impulse shopping and the internet and just how it affects us as an older person. You know what I mean? Be that involved, and then you look at the people that are our age. So it's like change can come. You can make a change. I get tired. Like, girl, I ain't getting on that. I can't do that. Yes, you can. Yeah. So we're gonna be entertaining all kind of stuff. So I'm just glad that he thought of me for this amazing project. Why? I don't know. I still pray on that. But like I said, you know, people always see something in you that you don't see in yourself. I think it's my voice, because if they say something, they might say, well, we really want a man. And then he can say, well, B, can you put on your man voice?
No. No, you're extremely talented, gifted at what you do. And I think, you know, he made the right choice.
Yes, absolutely.
But
you know, we want to thank you both.
Exactly.
I don't know where D. He likes spending.
And hopefully his internet service is working better if y'all
on his podcast. I hope his internet service, you got to pay the bill before you guys get started. Maybe that's why he wants you to be a part of the show, because he wants you to pay his bill.
Right.
He knows I ain't paying no bills.
Donations, please. Put that when we tell everybody about the show today. Make sure we put in there that D looking for donations.
I don't know what happened. I enjoyed this, ladies. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you both, and much love and success to you both in the future. Let everybody know where they can follow you and find out what's going on with your next moves.
People can follow me at Hey B-Phlat on Facebook, like HEYBPHLAT. On Instagram, it's a little tricky. It's flat out funny, but it's spelled with PHs, PHLATOUT and PHUNNY. Instead of F's, it's PHs. So it's, you know, I'm really not from Philly, but I've been here all my adult life. So I'm Philly grown. And so all my stuff is PH, because Philly basically raised me to be the great woman that I am.
I was just in St. Louis visiting a friend of mine who moved to St. Louis from Philadelphia, and we went to the West Point Park. Yeah, we went there to the city winery over there and to that event space they have. It's really nice.
Really nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. So thank you.
Interesting. It's an interesting city.
So DL, we were talking about you not paying your internet bill this month.
Yeah, no, that's one thing. Living out here, I'm looking around, see who's in my house, but you pay all this money here. He'd be like, "Yo, what's going on with the internet?" You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, hey,
your voice is going in and out.
yeah, I never had that before.
You know what? I know it's happening all over the place. What you got to do is you got to shut everything else off. You got to take your phone off
Oh,
of
that
your,
ain't happening.
your house.
Ain't happening.
That's just,
you got to stand up and put one arm in the air, like it's like no.
But the weirdest thing is, we switched over to a new company underground. You know what I mean? You had to worry about it happening. And man, I think company, but I think they still trying to work the. So, you know, and then
we are hearing every other word.
What it is, you hearing every other word now.
It's all good.
Out a little.
But just quickly tell everybody where they can find you on social media platforms, D.
You can reach me at I am the Instagram. I am the D on Instagram. That's mainly where I'm at. My more, but that's mainly where I'm at. I am the Dee Lee. And then you can find Lee's Famous Cheesesteaks at Lee's Cheesesteaks, you know, and at Lee. So, you know,
that's going in and out, D. And we're they ain't want to say, they ain't want to keep it real with your ass on the real. I hear that. So you're at Dee Lee on Instagram. What is it?
I am the Dee Lee.
I am Dee Lee. What happened to him? He froze up.
He froze up. So on Instagram it's I am the Dee Lee. We're gonna also post this on our Facebook page under the recording of today's show, so people will know. So thank you. I'm glad it happened at the end and not the beginning throughout the show. So we were able to interview both of you. So again, thank you both for being on the Real Recognized World Talk Radio show and always keeping it 100.
Thank you, ladies.
And as I tell all of our guests, you are now family with us. So if you got anything going on, please share it on our page so we can promote you and, like, you know, come back and let us know what you're doing and all that other good stuff.
We got a lot going on. Soul Train Cruise, Jamaica, San Diego. I have a lot going on.
I know, that's right.
Oh, mind sharing. I appreciate it, ladies. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank
you. Stay on afterwards. Do we take a screenshot or we click off? How are we doing it? You know, I ain't know. Joey always on some take a screenshot. No, I didn't know if we just click off, because a lot of times they want you to stay on and after the show or what.
Yes, you can stay on. So we're going to thank all of our guests for tuning in and continue to support and share our live video to all your family and friends. And safe travels for me. You got any things going on, Lynette?
Not at this time.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys once again, and continue to do what you do. We love you.
We love y'all. Thank y'all. Good luck.